So recently I've unlocked a bunch of overclocks and majority of them are for the Zhukov Nuk17, a weapon that I never use. Well, embedded detonators caught my eye. They sounded like a lot of fun, but I wasn't sure about the damage, so I checked it out without any mods. First victim happened to be a loot bug, and I have to say I was impressed with the damage. So I found myself a Praetorian, and to be frank with you, I was not expecting this gun to shred Praetorian in one mag. I wanted to see its full potential, so I tried it out on Oppressor, and it almost killed it in one mag, which is insane. So I went back to see how the mods affect this overclock. I wanted to see if damage upgrades affect the explosives, or just the base damage. After testing with damage mods, I couldn't see any difference. So I went back to see if weak point mod will affect the explosives. I did the same damage as without mods. I couldn't believe it, so I looked back at my recordings, and it does seem that damage and weak point mods have no effect on the explosives. They only improve base damage. So my last hope was with the Conductive bullets mod, as it works with the IFG grenade, so it was easy to test. I wasn't sure at first whether there is an extra 30% damage bonus or not, so I tried it on Praetorian, and I still had 8 ammo left after killing it, which means that explosives get the damage bonus with the Conductive bullets mod. Now, the only thing that was left to try is the penetration mod. I wasn't sure whether the bullet will explode on both enemies if it penetrates, and to my surprise, it actually worked. However, you're losing on 100+ ammo if you choose this, and it does seem to be difficult to hit double enemies every time. So it isn't 100% efficient, but it works, so either mod will be a good choice. So here is the way I run this overclock. First row you should take ammo mod. For the second row I always take the extra 10 ammo in the mag, as you really don't need the extra fire rate and reload time is already 1 second only, so I find the mag mod the most useful. For the third row go with the accuracy mod, for the fourth row go with either penetration mod or ammo mod, and the last row always take conductive bullets mod if you're running this overclock. Also, if you play solo, you can also choose Bosco's overcharged rounds mod, which will work with the conductive bullets mod on your gun. Before you try this out, there are a few things that I should mention. The bullets will not explode if you keep hitting Praetorian's armor or other armored enemies, so make sure to aim for the weak spots. Another thing to note is that if you're on your last clip and after shooting the enemies you will try to reload, the bullets will not explode. You need to have ammo to actually trigger the explosion. Also, the explosion doesn't have an AoE damage, which I feel is a missed opportunity as it would add an extra fun factor to the gun. But it would also make the gun overpowered, so it's understandable. There is also a way to stack your explosive bullets if you take Born Ready perk, which will automatically reload weapon if you don't use it for 5 seconds. So you can see on this Praetorian that if your gun reloads because of the Born Ready perk, it will not trigger the explosives. However, they are still there stacked in the enemy. As you can see, that explosion does happen if I trigger the reload, meaning you can stack your explosive bullets. Another thing to know is that your bullets will not explode on Dreadnought armored weak points. They will deal damage, but when you reload, nothing will happen. However, once the armor is broken, the explosion will happen and deal damage on the actual weak point. The same goes for the Hive Guard. On this note, you should also know that this overclock works insanely well with Hive Guard's Sentinels. Their armor on the front doesn't block the bullets and the explosion will deal full damage. This overclock will also work very well on the Hoarder, which I thought was a good thing to know since I had it run away from me one too many times. I was also unsure whether the electricity element damage boost works on Dreadnoughts or not, as it was difficult to test and it always seemed to have similar damage with or without IFG grenade. And the last thing to mention is that if you have a map with critical weakness, it will boost your damage on the explosive bullets. It's kind of weird that it gives you a damage boost with critical weakness buff, but it doesn't boost the damage if you run weak point mod, but it's still good to know. So yeah, here it is, Embedded Detonators. Probably one of the best overclocks in the game, so I highly recommend you try this out. I will leave you with some extra footage showcasing this overclock. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, a like or even a subscription would help me out a ton.
Breeder eliminated. Clip and Wharton down. Make every bullet count. Molly! Want to see the next stage of that ugliness. Rocket, please. Boom, boom, right here, Buster.
Well done, team. Immediate dreadnought threat eliminated.